Until it fits.
Well,
Okay.
we just got home,
So
had a box.
just
I bought the Omnislotbox, as most of you probably have seen.
keep going.
And there's been some concerns that running these kinds of cars on a digital track could mess up the electronics of the CU. But my understanding, and I could be wrong, I'm not an expert on this, is that the Omnislotbox is not like the tech slot where it chips the thing and it's still running through the control unit. Once, as you can see, my box is on, control unit's not on, no power is running through this. This is my understanding. Jim Cunningham could explain it better, but I wanted to run some cars. So what I got here, I don't know how good this light is a JK stamped steel. I kept calling it scratch built, but it's not a brass chassis that I built. It's a Target livery, fake probably, who knows. And it's basically a stamped steel chassis, Hawk motor, foam tires, no magnets, and like I said, the track's on. You don't see my lights here. None of my controllers are blinking, so I have no power, my understanding, when I'm in analog mode. Now, I'm going to go down here and flick my track into digital with no car on here. When I click that, okay, I'm going from analog to digital. Okay, now when I turn this on, okay, my track is on. My controllers are lit up. This is lit up. Should be lit up.
Go ahead and slice this down.
Unless I just
Alright, so I got this little guy cut. And put some glue on it.
all my controllers are lit up, my tower's lit up. Now I'm gonna turn this off.
Set that into place. Alright, so now we have our upper platform on there.
So now I got no power. I'm gonna switch this over to, well, I could leave this on even.
So
Flick this over to digital.
go ahead and make
Okay.
a little bit of a root.
Now I have no power.
Not on the whole thing.
You know.
So
Now I'm going to
on this panel,
take a few test laps in this car. Now this car is low. I mean, that scares me in a sense because the ground clearance is so low, but clearly doesn't touch my rails. Now that worries me that it could
what I'll do is
pop a breaker on this Omni slot, but it has a breaker in here. So I assume if it were to touch these rails, or if you set something, you know, you see kids will put a controller or something metal across there. That could happen in a lot of different ways, but I assume the fuse here is put in there in case that were to happen. I don't think it'd screw up my Omnislotbox, but I don't see that there's any power in here. I'm in analog mode. I have my analog controller. Let's take it for a couple laps. No magnet, right out of the box. It's at 9 volts. Handles like a champ. I mean, I get it if you're afraid of blowing up your your CU or ruining your lane. Because the way I understand it, I had the tech slot box hooked up to this, and I followed their instructions on isolating anything. I had some like out to inside turn lane changers or something. I just chose to remove those, but I have my double lane changer, this one inside to out, double lane changer, another double lane changer, my pit. All that was, my power taps and everything are set up the way tech slot, you know, which you're just isolating, running. Your power taps used to be off of this into the buzz bars and then out to the track. Now it runs off the back of the Omnislot, has 2 power tap things, one for each lane, so you would virtually run it the same way as you did off of this, but now off the Omnislotbox in the back has like stereo hookups that you run over to a buzz bar, and then under my table the runoff separate, isolated each lane. And that's my understanding, the same thing, because I virtually unplugged that tech slot thing, and this comes with the Omnislotbox also, and it's custom, so I'm assuming that he somehow bypasses this thing when it's in analog mode, and that's where the fear of ruining your CU, I don't see that it applies, but I could be wrong. Jim Cunningham would be the guy. He has a video out there. He was on Worldwide Slot Car, and if I burn this thing up, I'll buy another one, but I want to run some scratch build cars, which I'm going to be working on here in the future, and some of these, I don't know if they're called flexis or what, but these stamp steel, no magnet type of cars. I have all these cars over here on my shelf. 90% of them are chipped, and a whole bunch aren't, because it's so hard to get chips. They're so freaking expensive. And then when I get into some of my like lower profile cars, I got a couple slotted cars that even with the Slot Technic chip and trimming everything as small as I can possibly get it, it's still, you know, it's hard to get the body on to the car to where I get any kind of body float, because I got all this crap underneath there, and it's like the car runs great without a chip, but you can't run it on here. So, you know, I went out, took a chance, and bought the Omnislotbox. If you're interested in it, get a hold of Jim Cunningham. He can explain all the ins and outs. The guy knows what he's doing, and I think it's well worth, you know, it's expensive, but I think it's well worth it. You go out, buy a car like this, you just seen it, throw it on the track, boom. I bought another one the other day. I have about 4 of these cars now. And then not only that, I'll be able to run any of my slotteds. I can pull chips out of them, run that way. I don't know. We all got to make decisions. Magnets, no magnets. Analog, digital. Omnislotbox, standard Carrera setup. You know, you're an adult. Pick it. Have a good day. Like and subscribe. Don't want to make any ornery old men unhappy. Like and subscribe.